85.
Well,
85.
80s,
Yeah. Well,
early
I said
80s were
96,
huge for Mafia hits.
Where you're talking about a boss and an underboss being, hit, basically.
Yeah, and that was the Gambino chief, Paul Castellano,
Yes.
in 1985. So this was Francesco Cali.
Big Frankie.
He's considered was considered the head of the Gambino family.
Big Frankie. Yeah.
Shot down in his front yard and then run over.
Then run over. No. Let's go back. Let's go
The
back.
details are interesting because what I was reading about it is didn't somebody backed into his car
Yes.
that was
Yeah,
parked
yeah.
in the
To get
street
him out
to
in
get
the
him
car.
outside.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But
And then it was reported that he shook the guy's hand before
Yes,
he
yes.
he
There
did,
was
yeah.
interaction. Yeah.
there somebody knew.
And then he pulled out a gun and shot him in the chest.
So what
And
do
then
you
he
think
ran
that
over.
means?
And then he ran over.
Do you think he knew the person who killed him?
Oh,
or
of course.
not?
It's possible. I mean, they have arrested a 24-year-old Staten Island man.
But I can't believe. Okay, you shot the guy. I think you shot him 4 times, didn't he? Was it 4 times?
Yeah.
And then you ran him over.
Yeah.
So that's like Grand Theft Auto type of the video game.
Right.
You shoot a guy and then you run him over. It's like he's
Yeah.
already dead.
So let me ask you this: Is the mafia still alive and well
It
in
is.
this day and age of
Apparently.
2019?
Right?
Well, I was telling Sterling, Big Frankie is my great grandfather's brother's cousins, twice removed nephew. Just kidding. I'm Italian, so I kind of make these jokes. But the mafia is still around.
Apparently.
The problem with the mafia is since the 80s, when all these big name guys got either put in jail or killed, they've gone to lesser and lesser dudes, right? So when a big guy got killed, they went to the next guy up, and the next guy up would go to jail, and they go next guy up. And these guys are not as good as they used to be.
Well, I mean, and let me say this: if you're clearly the mafia still exists,
it
otherwise
is.
things like this wouldn't happen. And I don't know anything about organized crime, believe me, but it's just the one thing I would say is you would think incidents, headlines like this in today's age of 24-hour internet news cycle, social media, you would think killing would be bad for business.
Right, yeah.
It is bad for business, but I mean, again, they don't do much killing anymore because I don't think the mafia is
maybe they got smarter. They realized
They
it
got
is bad
smarter.
for business.
But there's not as much encroaching on territories anymore because back, a little history lesson, back when the mafia came up, you had your areas where you were, where this is where our mafia was, and this whatever, right?
There's the 5 families.
And there was territories, right?
Yeah.
With the digital age now, there's not really territories anymore.
Right.
A lot of their stuff is done online. There's bookmaking. There is, of course, pornography stuff going on, stuff like that. So their territories are worldwide.
Yeah,
so to have a hit like this is kind of crazy because unless he was encroaching on somebody's territory.
I mean, and what is their business? I mean, obviously you mentioned bookmaking, sports betting, obviously
pornography.
Is it under the table kind of smuggling, taxes,
sure.
Avoiding taxes?
It's not like it used to be. So in the past, it was the mafia was set up to protect local businesses.
Right.
That's where they came here. Okay,
Right.
they paid for that. Then they got into drugs. They got into gambling, racketeering, prostitution, things of that nature. The drug things would put them over the edge. Drugs were the downfall of the mafia. Because once drugs became involved, that's when everybody started getting caught. So nowadays, there is some drug stuff, but it's more online. I mean, it's betting sites. It's still pornography.
It's the old school
It's
stuff.
the old school stuff. They're not doing anything, and they're not protecting anybody anymore.
Yeah.
Like, who needs protection anymore?
Right.
What's your favorite mob-related movie?
That's a loaded question.
9 yards.
That was a quick answer, Dave.
Loaded question.
It is a loaded question?
Or even
Good-
full 10 yards.
Goodfellas,
That's
Casino,
a classic. I honestly...
The Godfather, Scarface.
And I almost feel ashamed, after you rattled off all those classics, I almost feel ashamed to say this, but I think mine might be The Departed.
That's a good one, too. That is good, though.
But it doesn't fit in... Yeah, it might someday, but it's not one of those classics that you...
Well, and what I said wasn't a classic either. It's a kind of a humorous take on mafia.
The Departed is a new school mafia type of thing. Irish mob.
Yeah. St. Patrick's Day.
And it is real life.
Yeah.
Goodfellas, of course, real life too. I mean, Henry Hill. Goodfellas I could watch every day. I've watched that movie hundreds of times.
I can't remember where I saw it, but speaking of Departed, somebody was complaining about Jack Nicholson's character in that movie.
A little too crazy. No,
a little over the top.
Do you know what? Funny you bring that up. I just read an article about it. He actually read the script and said, this guy that I'm playing is not crazy enough. I want to be crazy. So the whole blow on the hooker's back scene, all that whole thing, he came up with that stuff.
So they made a role for him.
They made a role for him.
Now, but to that movie, I mean, I like it. It's a great movie. It won the Academy Award for Best Picture that year. I think it was 2007.
So, anywho, that was a great story.
Yeah, and apparently the New York Times article that I was reading said that they actually interacted for 2 minutes. And he actually took the license plate off of the vehicle, put it in his own vehicle before he was shot 10 times.
Okay.
So
10 times.
Yeah.
10 and times. Run over. That's crazy in this day and age.
Yeah.
I will say.
It's just so weird.
It's so weird.
I was telling my wife about it. I was like, it reminds me of like we were in a movie or something.
Yeah.
It's just not normal.
It's not normal at all. So that was interesting. Speaking of your wife, let's get into some car talk.
High-level car talk.
High-level car talk. How high level are we going to get?
We're talking, I'm not going to say much other than, we had a Kia Sportage that it's stalled, and took it to a shop, and they decided it was the solenoid was covered in oil and it needed to be replaced, and like, well, this is probably under warranty, so we took it to the dealer, and they said, oh, yeah, it's definitely this, probably. And all of a sudden, it was like, oh, we need to open the engine to take pictures.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
So they open the engine, and all of a sudden, it's like, oh, yeah, we need the engine replaced.
It's like a crime scene.
And I was like, really? Replaced?
The last thing you want to hear.
Yeah, you don't want to hear that.
So I was like, all right, quote us, Needless to say, a brand new motor was going to run us $12,000.
Oh yeah!
Wow.
And the vehicle itself, private sale, was like $13,000.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, well, we're not doing this. So we couldn't produce records. I'll leave it at that. Couldn't produce service records.
We know the whole story, but we'll say that.
So, needless to say, we decided to scrap the vehicle.
Yeah.
And we bought a new one.
Yeah.
But what really drove me nuts? I'm not going to badmouth the dealership. It really felt like, well, I am going to badmouth the dealership. I'm just not going to say what dealership.
Yeah.
It really felt like they were trying to take advantage of my wife a bit, because it was like, well, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this, and we weren't hearing answers. So I finally called them, and all of a sudden it was, stutter. Well, we need to stutter.
Yeah.
It wasn't so obvious and expected that needs to happen. And I was like, what the hell's going on here? And so when we went to a different dealership across the metro, we told them how much it was going to cost. The salesman was floored by how much they were going to charge. And he kind of also alluded to the fact that he felt like my wife was getting taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And you'd think 2019... maybe this is kind of going away.
No,
I
it's
don't
not.
think it is.
And we don't need to get into the exact dealer, but it was a dealership that this happened at.
Yeah.
Which that's a little concerning to me, but I mean,
it is, because I mean, I have the same
and
problem with my
what
wife.
I guess what I was going to bring up is, for recently, I mean, I know a few things. I don't want to do any work on my car, especially this day and age. It's impossible to work on anything unless you're a mechanic. It seems like. But point being is, if maybe sometimes I get nervous to go to a mom and pop shop because they would do that, not necessarily to me, but to somebody
else. Yeah.
But that's why I feel like if you go to a dealer, they're not going to do that. But maybe that's not the case.
Well, and they want to make money, and it's still. And you're right. 2019, they're still doing it with women because somebody won something.
Yeah.
They're still doing it with women, and that's what kills me about it. Is if I went to a car dealership right now and said, "Look at my car," they'd give me a price. If my wife went with the same car with the same problems, they give her a totally different price.
Yeah.
Because they think women are stupid. This is the age of technology and the internet. People can look this stuff up.
Yep.
I have a little bit of... I've got a little bit of a thing because my brother and my dad are both mechanics, right? Thanks, bro, and thanks, Dad, for giving me that knowledge of knowing what needs to happen and what doesn't need to happen.
Right.
So when I go into dealerships, I say, what do you want to do? And they say this, and this. I say, this doesn't need to be done because the rate, it should be done at this time, not this time.
Right.
This doesn't need to be done. This I can do this myself, blah, blah, blah. I'm a guy. As a female going in, many females go in and say, just do what you have to do.
Yeah.
And they don't know what's going on. And I'm sure some guys are like the same way.
Oh, yeah. I used to be that way.
But in this day and age, that should not happen. Because of Google. Because of the internet.
Because of YouTube.
Because of YouTube. In the 80s, it could happen.
Yeah.
In the 90s, it could happen. But not now. And that's a bad situation if somebody really overplayed you for an engine.
Well, and what's worse is, they didn't get the business.
Of course they did.
We went to a different dealership and bought a brand new car. So they didn't get the repair cost. They didn't get a new vehicle.
They gambled and lost.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
Yeah. That's the way it goes.
So, that's just, it is what it is.
It is.
It's a bad deal. When you texted us, I said, oh, shit. I thought it was your car.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
We're not going to get into that.
Yeah.
I almost said something, and I don't want to say that.
Don't say it. It's okay. It's a life thing.
Right, yeah.
I'm just kind of, I've owned the car that I've had now for just about 9 years, almost 9 years now. So I'm just, and I hard drive it.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for that engine to blow up. It's going to happen.
I don't think it is. I think you're fine.
You take care of it.
I do take care of it, but
yeah, and that's the car you always wanted, right?
yes.
Yeah.
But part of me kind of wants to buy a new car because I've had it for 9 years now. So
I know that, dude. I just bought the new car. I don't want to go through that shit again. I don't. I hate it.
Yeah.
Could be the nice salesperson ever, but I hate it. So in closing,
Next podcast.
let's talk about the next podcast because it is kind of our 1 year anniversary.
Yeah, I think this is technically.
This is closer to it because I think we went back and looked. I think wasn't it March 20th? Wasn't that the day of your first podcast? You guys did it ended up doing it at your house, David?
At Dave's house, yeah. We talked about Toys
on
R
March
Us.
20th, 2018. So we're very close to that date.
That was kind of the day of the explosion of all the things going on now.
Yeah.
Next week, we're going back to Sterling's house once again. We are going to christen his new kegerator.
Yeah, new tap.
In his
Built
bar downstairs. And by the way, Sterling needs to put some pictures out of his bar on the internet.
Impressive workmanship.
Because it's very impressive.
Well, that whole lower level now.
That whole lower level is very
fantastic.
impressive.
I've
done a great job.
It's me.
Yeah, you've done it by hand.
Yeah.
You did a very good job. I can never do something like that.
I mean,
I didn't think I could either.
Did anybody help you with it? Is there anybody
my
you need to
dad
give a
helped.
shout out to?
Yeah.
Okay, your dad then.
My dad used to be a carpenter, and so he helped me with the sheetrocking and all that. Yeah, that's where I learned how to do so.
The first time I went in there, when we did our first podcast, I walked in there and I was like, it wasn't done yet.
Yeah,
but I saw the vision and I said, damn, dude, this is like a mini pub down here. This is awesome. And so now you got it all kind of finished up.
Most part, yeah.
Most part. We're going to do a podcast in 2 weeks from your house. We're going to try to get Johnny back out. We're going to try to get Johnny there. Nelsy, maybe some other people out there. Yeah. We're getting a keg. We're getting from
Castle
Danger Cream Ale.
Cream Ale, yeah.
Yep. And
unless something changes between there, but that's what I'm ordering.
Oh, and that's one thing one thing I should bring up. Castle Danger, they won the Star Tribune beer bracket last year.
Yes,
so
they did.
I wanted to bring that up just because I wonder how that's going to play out this year, that whole beer bracket. With the March Madness theme is why
we picked Castle Danger because I don't think we'll ever get to that brewery to do a podcast.
Right.
It's ways up on the North Shore, I think.
Maybe someday when we do a podcast in Duluth, maybe we'll do a podcast in
Where
Duluth.
is it exactly on the North Shore?
Two Harbors.
Yeah.
Okay. North of, but they do have
it's
a brewery.
almost Canada.
What they do have now, they started a brewery in Duluth.
That's true.
They have two. They have two locations now, so which is nice. But so we picked Castle Danger because Minnesota brewery from places that we're not going to go to.
Yeah.
So we're going to have some fun. We're going to do our podcast there. It's probably going to be a pretty crazy podcast, I would
It might
imagine.
be, yeah.